Today, we are honored to have drummer Andy Parker from UFO on the show. Man, what a treat this was. Obviously, the man and the music needs no introduction. So many classic albums. We all owe a debt to UFO. We all have their records. What a great band. What a great legacy. We talk about a number of things today. He was very kind to give us so much time. We delved into the history of UFO. And I guess as far as a timely angle, there is a reissue of the No Place to Run album currently coming out on Chrysalis Records. It is an expanded, remastered version of the 1980 album. It is a double CD, triple vinyl release. And it includes a live show from 1980 recorded at the Marquee in London. So you get, that's the new part of the release. Remastered studio album and the inclusion of a live performance also from 1980. Man, so much fun. And it was really cool to hear that Andy really endorses this re-release. A lot of times these things get done by the label and the band really has no say-so, or they're not even aware of it.
That's usually the norm.
Yeah, but it sounds like from what he tells us, he was consulted every step of the way. They approved a lot of things. He's real pleased with it. So that made me happy to hear
that right there is how it's supposed to happen.
Oh, yeah, I know. But
it does not. I mean, I've heard, Aerosmith has nothing to do with the cover art for their albums back when they were so busy. They're not going to sit around and approve the artwork for Draw the Line or whatever. I think that it's commonplace back then. But for a reissue after your legacy band, I feel like if, a label is in contact with management and the band, it's not hard to just send something over for them to look at and proofread and make sure it doesn't look like ass.
Right. So kudos to Chrysalis for taking the time to make sure it was done right, and I was really happy to hear that Andy is happy with it. No Place to Run record, interesting record for them, produced by George Martin, who of course was famous for his work with the Beatles. It was also the first record for UFO post the departure of Michael Schenker, so interesting time in the band's history. And of course we had to talk about Strangers in the Night and the whole, how they poached Michael Schenker from the Scorpions, which is a funny story.
Finally, I got some, some real information on the story that I've been telling. I've literally been telling people that story for years, probably when they didn't even want to hear the story. I made them listen to, Michael Schenker is my favorite guitar player, and he used to be in the Scorpions. Oh, I've heard of the Scorpions. And then you go into this whole thing as, which would be a reason that we have a podcast, I must say, is the nerd comes out, right? And I tell the story, or attempt to tell the story, about how UFO poached Michael Schenker from the Scorpions at the age of 17. Mm-hmm. I found out today, and he's going to tell the story in this episode, so don't wait for me to finish this, but the interpreter was someone that you've heard of if you're a fan of the Scorpions. So, because Michael Schenker did not know English, he knew German only. So, very, very cool about how I got some closure, or whatever you would call the story was corrected. And
to your credit, you weren't far off. I mean,
it was close.
I think Andy filled in a couple minor details, but you were basically spot on. So yeah. And the little details that he added today are just pure gold. So yeah, that made it all really interesting. Great story there. And we should mention that Andy lives in Texas, has been living in Texas for 20 years now. Yeah. He lives in a town called Granbury, and plays with a UFO tribute band called Lights Out.
Out of Houston.
Yeah. They've done a few shows. Eddie Trunk has emceed a couple of those shows. They've done really well, great response. And it sounds like they're trying to gear up to do some more. Andy was mentioning October is a possible time to look out for Lights Out, featuring Andy on drums. And I got to give a shout to John Adams, the guitar player from Lights Out. He is the guy that put me in touch with Andy. So made all this possible in a not so roundabout way. So thank you very much, John.
Yeah, he's good. John Adams is good people.
Yeah, I do appreciate the contact, and it made all this possible today. So, yeah, what an honor. We get to say that quite often on this show. We're very lucky in that regard.
Yeah, and thank God for Etsy.
Yeah, and we'll let that story speak for itself here in just a moment. But yes,
Etsy connects rock and roll people.
Who knew? Who knew? Yeah, honored to have him today, Andy Parker from UFO on the Talk Louder podcast.